Hello everyone, welcome back to another video with me. My name is Cotton Candy Doll. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome all. This is a shifting video. So we have lots to talk about today. I'm going to tell you guys what happened when I shifted back to the My Hero Academia universe, what my plan was, and how well it went. I said I would stop giving you guys spoilers. I'm not going to spoil anything for you or give you any clues as to what happened. I hope I didn't give away too much in the thumbnails. So originally, because of what happened the last time I went to My Hero Academia, there was the hot springs, Frodo was there, Endeavor was there, Hawks was there, okay? All Might was there. And then, later on something happened in the room. I almost ended up having a three-way with them. But I wasn't ready and I didn't really feel 100% comfortable yet, to the point where I'm still getting used to them together with me. But also the mischievous part of me kind of really wanted to see, like, would they be okay with me tag teaming them? So I concocted this little plan. Not anything too bad, guys. You guys know. You guys have an idea of what I probably did. I probably gave away too much because I was just excited to tell you guys what happened. I invited them over for breakfast, and I put a certain sleeping pill inside of both of their drinks so that they can get really tired, and basically sort of doze off the way that I did. So they're having breakfast with me. They're both like kind of looking at me. They're like watching me eat, and we had pancakes too. It was freaking delicious. So we had pancakes, we had scrambled eggs, and then we had bacon. It's freaking delicious. It's so good there. The food there is like immaculate. I don't know why it's like that there. It's so good, guys. So I ate and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at both of them. And so Toshinori immediately he notices once he starts he starts feeling tired. He goes, Cotton Candy Doll, did you do something? I'm like, no. And Hawks puts down his fork. He's like, I kind of feel tired too. And I was like, if you guys are tired, let's all go lay down together. And I give them the kind of this creepy smile. And so Toshinori is like, oh no, I know what this is. I know what you're doing. He goes, you can't do this to us. I goes, I'm not doing anything, okay? I said, come on, let's go to the room. So I take both their hands, I lead them to the room, and so like the idea was just to make them really drowsy and really like tired so that they really couldn't do anything. So Toshinori, he's laying down on the bed. By the way, I didn't wash their I didn't like let them like wash their hands or anything. They had like their hands weren't really dirty, but like kind of greasy a little bit from the bacon. Hands smell like bacon. I love bacon, so I don't care if I smell like it. So if that what that doctor says is true, I might absorb the smell. Oh God, walking around smelling like a pound of bacon, like a pound of swine, like a pound of swine. So we go in the bedroom, and so like I lay them down and I lay in the middle of them. And I'm like, this is nice laying here like this. And so Toshinori, he like puts his hand kind of like here, and my reaction is kind of like this a little bit, and then I'm like, and he's like, Cotton Candy Doll. I'm like, yeah. He goes, why are you doing this to us? And I'm like, I just want to see something. And he's like, I thought you were done like drugging me. Like, why are you doing this now? And I'm just like, well, I had to see like how okay you guys would be with this. And Hawks is like, okay with what? But they're talking just so like it's like, okay with what? Like they're so tired they can barely like keep their eyes open, but they're conscious enough to like know what's happening, but they can't do anything because their body is like kind of belly on it. Yeah, okay, so I mixed some of the sleeping drugs with a little bit of like, the ones that kind of make them paralyzed a little bit in their arms and legs. So anyway, they're laying there, and I know that they can't really be like hard with the medicine I gave them, but I'm playing with them anyway. Yeah, I'm touching like I'm in between them, and I'm kind of touching both of them, and they're just giving me like a look, and it's sort of weird. And Hawks is kind of like he sits up a little bit, and his hand is like on his, so his hand is kind of like this on his face, and he's like cutting candy down. I'm like, what? He's like, you know what you're doing? I'm like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. And he's like, you know that this isn't right, right? And I'm like, don't ruin the moment. I'm enjoying my moment. I'm just enjoying like getting to touch them together without them being able to do anything. It's probably not fair, but I don't care. If anything, I should get the first dibs on this, okay? I should be the first one to be able to do anything to both of them. So then I go, I had a question for you guys. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, you guys, how do you guys feel like being penetrated? How do you guys feel about being like penetrated? And Toshinori is like, if it's you, I wouldn't mind it. Like if I was a girl and you were a guy, I would let you penetrate me as a girl. And I go, no, 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 no. I go, you don't understand me. I mean how you are now. And he's like, you can't penetrate me because you're not a guy. Also, where would you penetrate me? And I'm like, oh my gosh. He's like clueless, guys. I'm like, uh, in your ass. You said that way, you really can't be my bitch. So Toshinori is like, oh, no, no. So Toshinori is like kind of moving like back away from me. He's like, that was enough to make him kind of like back away. And he's trying to run, guys. It's so funny. He thinks he can get away. So I get up and I grab the rope. And the thing is, like, he's moving so slow because his body is so sluggish. He's like, he thinks he's moving like far away, but he's only moving like inches away, like this, like inches away. So I get up. I don't even like have to hurry, okay, because they're not going anywhere. I get the rope and I tie it around Toshinori's wrist and I tie him to the bedpost. So he's like, Cotton Candy, don't do this to me, please. And I go, oh, you're gonna beg me now. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna beg you. You better not ever do this. And I go, you're fine. Just chill out there, okay? You're fine. I'm not gonna do anything that you're not gonna like. Just stay there. So then I turn to Hawks and I'm like, Hawks. And he's like, yeah, Cotton Candy Dot. And I'm like, would you let me? And he goes, don't even think about it. And I go, So they're not okay with me penetrating them, but they want to do this to me. Because I don't know how a three-way really works. I think, how did they do that? So I think one guy goes in your ass, the other guy goes in. One guy goes in your butthole, the other guy goes in like your vagina. So they bang you at the same time, I think, right? Or there's another way to do it. You could, oh, one of them could be hitting me like from the back, and the other one could be in front of me, and I could be like sucking him off, like getting his love milk out. It could work that way too. But honestly, I don't feel like I feel like that's more porn stylish. That's more pornographical than anything. That's not how you. I don't know that will really make like a love connection between us. I just want to experiment with them. I want to see like what's gonna make them tick. So Toshinori's first. So like his hands is in a rope, and he's like, "Oh, please let me go." He's struggling, and now it doesn't even sound believable. I'm like, Toshinori, what are you doing? That's ridiculous. You're being like overly dramatic. And he's like, I'm not being overly dramatic, and he's doing this with his hands. So I narrow my eyes. I'm like, what? And then Hawks is behind me, and he's like, his hand like kind of runs through my hair, and I'm like, I turn around. And I'm like, Hawks. He's like, oh, please let me go. I don't want to be in here. I'm like, why does it sound like they're reading from like a line or something? It sounds like they're reading from like a script. And I'm like, okay, well, who should I start with first? I'm like, you know what? I really should get like a paddle or something so I can paddle them and see what they do. Like I want to see like their reactions and stuff. So I'm like, I have a good idea to make your bottoms red. And like I want to see how you guys sound together. And they kind of give me a look that's kind of like I can tell they're like disgusted by the idea of that. And it's like, okay, but you guys are like best friends. Like you're supposed to care about the other person and right. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what way they were trying to like share me. How when you can't even stand each other in a way like I don't want to say can't stand each other. They're willing to share and last time the vibe was just so different. Like I felt like anything probably could have went. I was just too afraid to like I was really too afraid to like let them press further because I didn't know like I don't know. The idea of it's scary. Being that close to someone and then possibly later being torn apart from them, there's a chance that your heart could rip into a million pieces or break into a million pieces, and I will not allow that to happen. They'll both be kidnapped. Anyway, just forget I said that. I'm not yandere. Yanderes are okay with killing, I'm not. So there you go. Bam, not yandere. Anyway, so they're in bed with me, and I'm getting the impression that, they're trying to like play me or whatever. Like, you guys were okay with it before, and I was in this position. I wasn't drugged or anything. And Toshinori goes, well, I don't understand why you think that we will be okay with both being like tied up in this way. Kind Canada, this is like our thing. And I go, first off, when I'm in private with you, or if I'm in private with Hawks, like it goes this way. Like this is the way that it goes, usually. And Toshinori's like, I don't really understand what you're trying to say, but he goes, I knew you were planning something from the get go. Like when we came in, I knew you were planning something. And Hawks is like, me too. And I'm like, what do you mean you knew I was planning something? They're like, you just invited us over for breakfast. You didn't ask about Frodo. And I'm like, look, Frodo was with his godfather. I already knew that. There's certain days he goes with his godfather. I know which days those are. And I've actually been traveling there a whole lot. I've been less tired. I figured it out. I've been trying to get myself on a better sleep pattern. It's really my body. It's getting used to my body is getting used to going to bed sooner and waking up earlier. That way I have time to do stuff during the day. So, and that combined with my workspace and more of the shifting I've been doing, all those things together, it kind of made it like harder for me. And my body have been feeling really drained. So what I decided to start doing is just taking vitamins, doing some warm-ups in the morning, stretching out, getting my exercise. Not so much coffee anymore. I still do coffee sometimes, just not all the time anymore. Oh, I just jumped away from the story. Let me go back. Sorry. So they're like, we knew you were planning something the whole time. And I'm like, well, you guys obviously went along with it. So, yeah, the fact that you're like this is just like dumb. So I'm like, anyway. So I reach it behind me and I grab the paddle that I've been hiding, like Pictionary. He's like, what? I'm like, on your knees. And I turn him over so that like he's like back, his stomach is like flat and his butt is there. And he has his hands are like this. They're inside of the rope. And then so like I get the paddle and Toshinori is like, no, 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 no. And he like does this, his hands come out of the rope that's tied around him. And I'm like, why are you out of the rope? So then Toshinori sits up and he's like, were you really just gonna torture me like that? And then Hawks takes his off and he's like, see, like, oh, the only thing she's interested in doing is just torturing us for no reason, like. And I'm like, they were like, we were really just curious to see what you're gonna do. if you got both of us in bed, we thought you were gonna, we thought you were gonna, try and do like some things with us, like try and experiment with us. And we were open to that idea. But now that we see what type of person you are, we know for a fact that, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, why did you play along? Like, why did you pretend? I'm like, well, what happened to the sleeping drugs and stuff I gave you? They're like, we put it in your food. Of course you did. No wonder I'm feeling like really sleepy right now. And so like I pass out, like, and the funny thing is like I had been drugged already, and because of, yeah, I know, guys, so backfired. I had been drugged already, but it seems like it didn't start working until he spoke the words. Like, if he had to just shut up the whole time, maybe it wouldn't have affected me. But obviously, I was already starting to feel like tired, so I was already feeling myself kind of going downhill. And I was just like, these guys played along the entire time. Like, anyway, so I'm laying there and I wake up and I'm like completely naked. I'm like tied to the bed, and Toshinori is sitting in front of me, but he's sitting like sideways. And the way I'm on the bed is weird because, like, okay, so the bedpost is like behind me. My hands are kind of like this. So I'm looking sort of on my knees. Not so much my knees, it's weird. I'm halfway on my knees. I'm like in between, like where my thighs are, sort of. And my body is being held up with a rope. So I start swinging like this, like, because there's nothing else I can do. Like, and Toshinori is like, um, I'm glad you tried to experiment with me, but I wasn't going to let that fly. He goes, now, how do you feel about being penetrated from the back? I'm like, you better not ever do that to me. He says, okay. I knew you would feel that way. I'm sorry, I'm being distracted. Looking at something. Oh, yeah, let's just trick that away. That way it doesn't distract me anymore. It's completely distracting me. Sorry, guys. Let's put that over there. So my hands are in the rope, and so Hawks comes over, and he's like, with a sight for sore eyes, and he gets on the bed, and he's naked too. And he walks up to me, and he presses his lips against mine, and I do one of these kind of like that, and I'm like, and then he like he like moved away, and I did like this, like I tried to like come after him, and so then he moved out of the way, and then he was just teasing me. And Toshinori is like, what should we do to her? And Hawks is like, I have an idea. I'm like, what is the idea? What are you guys gonna do? And he's like, he picks up the paddle, and he's like, I wonder if I can make you turn red with this paddle. And I'm like, oh no. I go, I was just joking. I wasn't actually gonna do that. And he's like, I feel like you're lying to me. Like, I feel like that's a lie. Like, I feel like you really were gonna do that. He goes, you think she'll cry if I do it? And so like he takes the paddle and he like smacks it against me. Holy crap, it hurts so bad. I was like screaming, okay, okay, stop, stop, stop. And he's like, that was just one swat. You can't expect that to be enough. And then he swats me again with it. And then he drops it. And he's like, okay, Toshinori, I can't take it anymore. And Toshinori's like, go ahead. So then he comes up behind me, and Hawks like kind of lifts me under my arms, which I absolutely hate more than anything. And he sits me on him. He sits me on him so that like I'm like fully penetrated by him. And like so my body kind of goes like stiff because I'm not just okay. I never get used to him for some reason. He's so big. So I'm kind of like, stuck in my kind of my stiff position. So Toshinori comes up, he sits down like in front, which is weird because like his legs are resting on top of his legs are resting like on top of his knees. The way they're sitting is almost kind of scissory, so it's like this. And but then I'm sitting on top. So I'm sitting here on top of Hawks. Hawks is under me. He's in me. And Toshinori's on top of his knees like this. But then the way so he's sitting there on me, and he's sitting on him, and then he leans over, he's like just sucking on my nipple. And I'm starting to get like turned on from him, and he's also moving in me. And so like now I'm like moaning, and I'm like I can't really move my body away from Toshinori. I'm trying to, but he's like just following me. His whole body is just following wherever direction I move to. So if I try and do this, his head just does this, or his body just does this. And so then Hawks puts his arm around me like this, so he's like holding me in place. And then he like sort of backs out, and then he goes up like that. So he's thrusting out there. I'm like screaming kind of. And Toshinori is like kind of still has his mouth like pinned to the nipple. So my hands are like still up like this, guys. And so I'm like, and then so like that's happening, and then Toshinori is like, she's getting ready to come, and I'm just like, I'm thinking like, how does he know? So he knows, how did you know? And then I was just like, I know, I can feel it. And he's like, I know what I'm gonna do. So he stops, and I'm like, Hawk stops. He pulls out of me, and he's like, Toshinori, your turn. And I'm like, so now I'm like trying to like I'm trying to get out of the rope, and it's not working. I'm like pulling on it, I'm tugging on it, I'm twisting my body. It's not working. So then this nerve comes behind me, and he starts. And Fox gets in front of me. He takes his shaft, his whole thing, his pole, his cock, and like puts it in my mouth. And he starts face fucking me. And so like I'm trying to swallow as much as I can of everything, because I mean I am really good at my mouth. So like it starts coming out, like a lot of it, and I'm trying to, but then it's running down my mouth too, because oh, I forgot to tell you guys, yeah, this video's cringy. I'm so sorry. Cringe, 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 cringe. So then I'm like trying to drink all of it, but I'm like choking on it. And then Toshinori, I can feel him like getting like hard. But then he stops, and he's like, you know what? You're not gonna get my love milk this time because you deceived me. And then Hux also stops, and he's like, you got a good swallow. I think that's good enough. And they both back off, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you mean? I got the love milk dripping all down my face and everything. Oh, it was delicious. And so the most organic thing ever. No chemicals added. Not man-made, but comes from man. Perfect. Okay. And so like I'm laying there because they like untie me and they let me lay down, and I'm like out of breath. And so like I wanted to like immediately I wanted to get up and leave because I was like embarrassed. Okay, my face was like red. And I tried to like get off the bed, but like they were like they had their arms on me, and they were like, "You're gonna just lay here with us. We're just gonna enjoy being with you." And I'm just like, my attitude the whole time was just pouty. I'm like, I don't want to enjoy being with you when you and me, Toshinori. And Toshinori, I could tell I like kind of like sparked something in him because like his face got like kind of, but then like his face turned like hard, and he was just like, no, I'm not gonna give you what you want this time because that was a dirty trick you played on us. Are you gonna get us an apology? And I'm like, no, because I don't feel like I did anything wrong. He's like, oh, she's sassy again. This is Hawks. Oh, she's sassy again. I'm like, get your hands off me. He's like, no. So he's like has his arms around me, and then I put my hand on his arm, and like I don't know, I wasn't angry anymore. Um, I felt like yeah, they definitely like let me have it, and I feel like I did kind of learn like I don't think I should ever do that again. I should have really made sure that I put the drugs in their food first off if I was going to do that. I don't know when it got switched. I don't even know how that happened. Okay. That was nearly a threesome. That is a threesome, right? Yeah. Isn't that what it is? I know they do more stuff, like usually like so the porn videos I watched, obviously it's different. Some people have double penetration where like the two people go in them at once. Okay, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. I don't want to be stretched out. I don't want my stuff all busted up inside from both of them. I can't have that. So, and the love milk was so she never didn't let me drink his. But he said he wasn't going to give me any. So, I mean, all that means is that he suffered too, right? He had to have. So I lay with him the whole night, and I shifted back. Of course, I cleaned myself up, showered, everything. I went to work sore, hurting. Just hurt like sore, just everywhere. And then I returned later to see Frodo. Frodo is such a little man. He's starting to stand up. I'm super excited to see him walk. He's so cute. He doesn't walk yet. He can only stand up, but he'll sit back down. And, he's 6 months now. Well, 6.5 months, almost 7 months. So, I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take him to start walking. I'm actually scared to see if when he starts walking into. I really am going to have to get like a bigger kid prison for him, a bigger baby prison for him to, move around in. I don't want to keep him restricted, but yeah, I'm just gonna have to keep my eyes on him. Period. But yeah, so I did go back afterwards to see Frodo, and that's it. And it was kind of awkward, and that's what I didn't want, guys. I didn't want to go back there and deal with like them acting different toward me or weird. Hawks seems like um, Hawks treats me like he didn't get enough. He said hi to me, hugged me, we kissed, but it was like the kiss was like he ran his fingers through my hair and he like felt me up and he was like pulling me into him and he was whispering like, "You want more?" and stuff, like saying that and like and I kind of like I put my hands here and I was kind of trying to like push him off a little bit. And then Toshinori came in and he gave me a hug and then kissed me like on the cheek. And I turned to like kiss him and like I almost kissed his mouth, but he kind of smiled a little bit and then he like looked away. So I feel like Toshinori really feels like betrayed by me for that. Maybe I deserve that. I don't know. He knows who I am. He knows obviously something was gonna happen. No way I was just gonna sit there and like just let whatever happened happen. Like I mean, I really wanted to see if they would let me like double team them. I know it's only one of me, but I wanted to try and tag team them. But I guess I did go about it in a torturing kind of way where I did kind of want to torture them a little bit, but that didn't work out, guys, as you could see. My plans don't always work 100% anymore. It was easier before when it was just Toshinori, but I wasn't always able to fool him either. So I don't know. Uh, I have not gone back to UA Academy. I probably should the next time I go. My main focus when I've gone back has been Frodo. No one's talked about me going back to the school, so I did tell Principal Nezu I was ready to come back. So perhaps next time I go back, I'll get to see like the kids. By the way, which they ended up getting left there last time in my house. So I mean, I know Bakugo was like asking me when I was gonna come back, and everyone else was like, "Your class was fun and everything." Yeah, that's because I broke all the rules last time. I'm not doing that again. I have to be a responsible adult this time. No trouble. No shooting people by accident, Kirishima. I'm sorry. Um, no, poisoning the teachers or roasting them. I have to be understanding. Because Daizawa has a scarf because it's a part of his quirk, not because he's cold all summer. But yeah, I shifted back here. My second visit, like I said, it was awkward with that. Yeah, I've actually visited there a couple times. I don't always do a video every time I go. I just don't have the time to do it anymore all the time. I'm gonna try and do it more often. That way, you guys can get more videos, so you know what's happening. Um, this video, I'm not really sure how long it was. I know it wasn't too long, but I wanted it to be long enough for me to explain it to you guys what happened. Um, it wasn't a steamy night. It was more of a crazy night. I was not expecting that. That really shocked me, and um, I'm actually really glad it happened. I feel relieved. There was no reason for me to be as afraid as I was of them because I actually really love them. So maybe my fear, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I conquered it, but I didn't. It wasn't my fault that I conquered it. Yes, it is because if I hadn't done that, but it's kind of like they showed me like we're not really gonna like do anything too extreme to you, like because they could have just flat out just gangbanged me. It was two of them. They could have did whatever they wanted, but I knew I would still get tortured in some way, so I was prepared for that, like 100%. Yes, I know. Hmm. I didn't get Toshinori's love milk, but I got Hawks, so that's good enough. I mean, that stuff will last me what, like a week? I think it'll last me about a week. I'm so glad I had to get like Prozac. I'm glad I have the natural stuff available to me. I just have to salvage it from them whenever I want, like harvest it. Oh, no, cringe, right? Cringy. I know. Love milk. The best. Anyways, guys, um, we'll talk again soon, very soon. If you like this video, don't forget to give this video a like. If you hated it, don't forget to hit the bell. That way you're notified when I have other videos like this available. Ding! And I'll see you guys very soon. I'll see you in my next video. And I'm not gonna make any more plans to do anything. I'm just gonna go with the flow now. I feel like that's not really um it benefited me last time to plot against them because of all that stuff that happened. And obviously something good came out of it, even though I got it, even though I got swatted twice. But I knew he really didn't want to hurt me because he would have just kept going and just regardless if I had a you know. So he's not as brutal as Toshinori. Toshinori's punishments were like really bad at, you know. I went back and I and I reviewed like I didn't review, but I went back and rewatched like some of the older videos from my older ones about his torture methods. He actually doesn't do that to me anymore. Like I haven't been shot with any tranquilizers. I haven't had to run through the backyard of his forest or anything. And Hawks didn't really get me back for. Hawks sort of let me get away with what I did to him, like with that dress, with making him dress up in a dress and everything. Yeah, I sort of got away with it, so I feel kind of happy about that. Um, will he completely let me get away with it? I mean, I think he did already, right? Hopefully he doesn't remember. Or and also I forgot to mention Toshinori has been coming here at night when I haven't been shifting him. He's been coming here, I guess, to like watch me sleep. He hasn't like tried to touch me or do anything to me. Weird. My guide is also here, which prevents him from like really doing anything because he has a shield over me, like a protection, like ball of light. So like Toshinori can't reach into it or do anything because it's just too powerful. So all he can really do is watch, which I'm kind of happy for. He hasn't figured out a way to like disarm my shield or anything like which he probably won't. Like my guide is just I have a really powerful guide, and so I don't have to worry about anything trying to get to me, even if it's Toshinori. I don't know if Hawks just tried anything. I haven't seen him or any signs of him or anything. Wasn't I supposed to end this video? All right, I'm gonna end the video now. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.